right, this is 2nd of October 2025, Thursday, and our lesson today is Prosperous and Successful. We shall read the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 7 to 9, which we read yesterday, together with Genesis chapter 24, verse 40, Isaiah 53, verse 10, and Psalms chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. After reading this text, what does it mean to be prosperous and successful? So maybe we just read one of them. I'll read Isaiah chapter 53 verse 10. 53 verse 10 of Isaiah. Yes. This is New King James Version, and Isaiah 53 verse 10 says that, "Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He has put him to grief. When you make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand." I repeat, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He has put him to grief. When you make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hands. Okay? The Hebrew term tsalakh, prosperous, found in Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, implies the satisfactory accomplishment of what was planned, or a state of favorable circumstances. The term sakal, to be wise, also found in Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, can be translated as prosper or be successful. But it can also mean to be prudent or to act wisely. It occurs frequently in Job, Proverbs, and Psalms, where the notion of success is closely tied to acting wisely by fearing God and obeying His word. According to this insight, success is not necessarily defined as material prosperity, though it does not exclude it. Success has to be seen as a state of harmony with the spiritual values and principles that lie at the foundation of God's created world and that are expressed in His law. Indeed, trust in God's promises, especially the promise of salvation by faith alone and obedience to His law, are not opposed to each other. They represent two sides of the same coin. Read Romans chapter 3 verse 31. Then answer this question: what does this text say about the relationship between the law and faith? So let me read for us the book of Romans chapter 3 verse 31. Romans 3:31. God, it says, "Do we then make void the law through faith? Certainly not. On the contrary, we establish the law." Let me repeat, still in New King James Version. Romans 3:31 says, "Do we then make void the law through faith? Certainly not. On the contrary, we establish the law." So, after reading that text, what does this text say about the relationship between law and faith? To pit faith in the atoning and sacrificial death of Jesus in our behalf against the obedience to God's law is to set up a false and dangerous dichotomy. Law and grace always go together. Only a superficial understanding of the role of the law can lead to perceiving law and grace as opposites. The writers of the Old Testament had a high standard for the law and considered it a source for delight. See Psalms chapter 1 verse 2, Psalms chapter 119 verse 70 to 77, and 174. Rightly regarded and used, the law will lead to a deeper understanding of one's own sinfulness. You can find that in Romans 7 verse 7. And the need for Christ righteousness, find that in Galatians chapter 3 verse 24. So as we close, our question here is, however much by God's grace you seek to keep his law. How has your own experience shown you your need for Christ covering righteousness? I repeat the question. However much by God's grace you seek to keep his law, how has your own experience shown you your need for Christ's covering righteousness? Thank you. And I want to end it at this point. We'll meet tomorrow for the Friday to wrap it up for this week. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.